On the late afternoon of November 24th, 1971, a sharply dressed man in a dark suit, sporting sunglasses and calling himself Dan Cooper, stepped aboard Northwest Orient Airlines Flight 305 from Portland to Seattle. To everyone else on that plane, he was just another passenger. But imagine boarding a routine flight only to discover that one man among you is about to pull off the most audacious hijacking in American history. More than 50 years later, the world still doesn't know who D.B. Cooper really was, or what became of him. His story is a riddle wrapped in a mystery, an unsolved puzzle that's baffled the FBI for decades. But hold on, because today, a brand new clue has emerged, one that might finally crack this case wide open. Stick with me as we unravel this thrilling tale, from the jaw-dropping details of the hijacking to the suspects who could hold the key, and a stunning update that could change everything. Dan Cooper, later dubbed D.B. Cooper thanks to a media mix-up, wasn't your average traveler. Picture this. The plane takes off, and shortly after, he slips a note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. She assumes it's a flirty gesture and tucks it away, until he insists she read it. Her heart stops. Scribbled on the paper, "I have a bomb. I'll blow this plane sky high if my demands aren't met." Cool as ice, Cooper demands $200,000 in cash. That's over $1.5 million in today's money, and 4 parachutes. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment crime. This guy had a plan. When Flight 305 lands in Seattle, Cooper lets the passengers and some crew go, but he keeps the pilots and one flight attendant as leverage. In return, he gets his ransom and those 4 parachutes. But here's the twist. Why 4? Was he working with someone else? Or was it a mind game to throw off the cops? Even now, no one's sure. The plane takes off once more, this time headed for Mexico City with a pit stop in Reno. But Cooper's not in it for the long haul. About 30 minutes into the flight, soaring over the rugged forests of southwestern Washington, he orders the crew to stay in the cockpit. Alone in the cabin, he lowers the rear stairs, a feature unique to the Boeing 727, straps the money to his chest and leaps into the freezing, wind-whipped darkness. Poof! Gone without a trace. That night was brutal. Torrential rain, howling winds, temperatures hovering near freezing. Experts say no one could survive a parachute drop like that, especially not some guy in a thin business suit with no survival gear. The FBI scoured the area for weeks but found nothing. No body, no parachute, no Cooper. Did he beat the odds and slip away, or did the wilderness claim him? Fast forward to 1980, a kid stumbles across 3 stacks of $20 bills along the Columbia River near Vancouver, Washington, 9 years after the jump. The FBI checks the serial numbers, and boom, they match the ransom money. But here's where it gets weirder. That spot's miles from where Cooper jumped. Did he stash the cash and escape? Did the river carry it from his crash site? The money only deepened the mystery. Even though Cooper vanished, he left a few breadcrumbs behind. A black tie, some cigarette butts, and fingerprints. For years, the FBI tried to crack these clues, but 1970s tech just wasn't up to the task. It wasn't until 2011 that they pulled a DNA profile from that tie, giving investigators a fresh shot at solving the case. The ground search was massive. Hundreds of agents and volunteers combed the Washington wilderness. They turned up zilch, except for one odd find, a placard from the plane's rear door, discovered 13 miles from the drop zone. Did it blow off mid-flight, or did Cooper make it farther than anyone thought? After chasing leads for over 45 years, the FBI officially shelved the case in 2016. But they've never stopped listening for new tips. D.B. Cooper's become a phantom, a legend that's haunted law enforcement for half a century. And yet the hunt for answers marches on. Over the years, hundreds of names have popped up as potential Coopers, but 3 keep rising to the top. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr., Dwayne L. Weber, and William J. Smith. Let's break them down. 1. Richard Floyd McCoy Jr. Born in 1942, McCoy was a Vietnam vet, a skilled pilot, and a parachute pro. Just 5 months after Cooper's heist, McCoy pulled off his own copycat crime, hijacking a United Airlines flight in 1972, demanding $500,000 and jumping with the loot. Sound familiar? Unlike Cooper, though, McCoy got nabbed 2 days later and died in a shootout with the FBI in 1974. The similarities are eerie. Both used notes, demanded parachutes, and bailed mid-flight. Was McCoy's 1972 gig a sequel to his 1971 masterpiece? The catch, he was 29 at the time, while Cooper was pegged at around 40. Could the flight attendants have gotten his age wrong under pressure? I think McCoy's the strongest contender. His skills scream Cooper. 2. Dwayne L. Weber. Dwayne Weber, born in 1924, was a World War II vet with a rap sheet. Burglary, forgery, you name it. On his deathbed in 1995, he dropped a bombshell to his wife, Jo. "I am Dan Cooper." She later found an old Northwest Orient ticket stub among his stuff. Coincidence? Maybe not. But when the FBI tested DNA from Cooper's tie, it didn't match Weber's. Jo swears the feds botched it, but without solid proof, this one's a long shot. A deathbed confession is juicy, sure, but I'm skeptical. 3. William J. Smith. Born in 1928, Smith was a Navy pilot in World War II who later worked railroads. In 1970, Penn Central's bankruptcy wiped out his savings and pension. Talk about a motive. In 2018, a military analyst pitched him as Cooper. He matched the FBI sketch and had the know-how to parachute. Living in New Jersey, he might have picked Washington to throw everyone off. Trouble is, there's no hard evidence. And he died in 2018 without a DNA test. It's a solid theory, but it's all guesswork for now. Here's where it gets wild. In September 2023, Richard McCoy Jr.'s kids, Shantae and Rick McCoy III, announced they'd found a parachute stashed in their mom's storage unit. They're convinced it's the parachute, the one their dad used in 1971. And they didn't stop there. They handed over McCoy's DNA to the FBI to match against the tie. The feds are on it, analyzing every thread of that chute. If it's legit, or if the DNA lines up, this could be the smoking gun we've waited 50 years for. There's even talk of digging up McCoy's grave for a perfect sample. Results could take months, but the stakes are sky high. I'm buzzing about this. McCoy's always been my top pick, and this could seal the deal. But if it's a bust, we're back to square one. D.B. Cooper isn't just a criminal, he's a myth, a shadow no one's caught. Was he McCoy, Weber, Smith, or someone we've never even suspected? Whoever he was, he's left an indelible mark on American history. With this new parachute and DNA twist, we might be inches from the truth. But until the final piece falls into place, Cooper remains the ultimate unsolved mystery. So what do you think? Did D.B. Cooper pull off the impossible and survive that jump? Is he sipping coffee somewhere right now? Or did he vanish into the wild forever? And if McCoy's not our guy, who is this mastermind? Drop your theories in the comments. I want to hear them all. Hit that subscribe button for more updates on this wild case, and thanks for watching.